Hey friends, it's Monday Night Live on Friday, but I wanted to get a meeting to you just so we could talk about month-end stuff and do our story time that I forgot to do. We're actually ran out of time last Monday. What day was that? The 18th. Okay, so I can't talk about my personal life because I'll cry, but I can get moving and talk about Mary Kay and do that. So I will do that. So let's go ahead and get started with a prayer to prayer. Heavenly Father, we love you so much. We thank you for your goodness, your love, your faithfulness, your kindness, and that you have a purpose and plan for us. And more than ever, I'm so grateful that we have a plan of salvation and a heavenly home to look forward to, and to see others that have gone before us there, Lord. I thank you for these beautiful ladies that are going to be watching this video, and I ask that you would bless them this week in their lives as moms, wives, daughters, aunts, granddaughters, all the things we are. Grandmothers. we're lots of things. We wear lots of hats outside of our work life. And Lord, I ask that you would just bless them this week, help them to feel your love and your presence and your peace as they're doing life. And Lord, I thank you that we can come to you anytime, anywhere, for anything, and that you always hear us, and that you are a good, good Father. We love you, Lord. We ask these things in your Son's most awesome and precious name. Amen. Okay, let's jump in, gals. Okay, just some quick reminders for month end. Today is Friday the 29th, but month end wrap up is going to be on Sunday at midnight. And that's your last opportunity to get in for the $100 day drawing. Y'all, is this bracelet not awesome? So pretty. So $100 days. And you know what? I know some of you have had them, but you haven't posted or let me know. But I only have so far Marianne Garrett and Paula Fambro down for $100 days. So yay for them. Yay, gals. But also make sure you let me know your $100 days or post them in our Facebook group. Okay. Next, we've got It's a Beautiful Pink Life, and we've got 3 gals that have earned that thus far. I know many more of you will be wrapping up by Sunday at midnight, but we've got Alice Todd, Becca Brown, and Joy Craven. Yay, good job. They've ordered 300 wholesale, and they've earned these gorgeous earrings right there. Remember when we had these? I think I mentioned it. We had the gold ones, what we earned from Mary Kay with the 600 wholesale. So anyway, these are silver and 300 wholesale by the end of the month. So it is cumulative. Okay, next, okay, I had these on earlier, but I'm kind of wearing orange, so I didn't put them back on, but they're kind of cool. I'll tell you, let me show you. First of all, we've got, sorry about the cat ears at the bottom of the screen. We have the Powered by Pink promotion going on, and these are the earrings. Okay, they're pink rhinestones. I was kind of like, what? And so, y'all look, these are pretty cool. So this goes in the front, or I guess the back, and the pearl can go in the back, or I guess they're reversible, whichever side you want them on, but that's your earring front and back. How fun is that? Very unique. Okay, so those are the earrings with 600 wholesale for the month. And so far, we have Becca Brown. She has already earned hers. Yay, Becca. And she's still on target for the fall consistency program, where she will earn, I'll show you these gorgeous earrings. She's just got to wrap up November and December. Also on target for that are Marianne Garrett and Susan Bell. So you guys have until the end of October to get your 600 wrapped up and earn your Powered by Pink and stay on target for the fall consistency. Okay, next, let's see here. Just a reminder of Star Consultant status. You can either choose a beautiful prize the company has picked for you, or you can, oops, upside down, or you can accumulate and get even bigger and better things. And I'm going to just do it like this today because I'm being a little quicker today. There's our stars, are they cute? Okay, so the gals that were stars last quarter, which is Becca Brown, Marianne Garrett, and Susan Bell, when they wrap up their when they wrap up their star for quarter 2, they earn a trip to Austin with me on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, January 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which is going to be awesome and so much fun. Trip on me. So get your stars wrapped up. For the rest of you guys that maybe weren't a star in quarter 1, get your star wrapped up for quarter 2. I mean, it would be awesome for you to be a 3/4 star, even if you're not a 4/4 star, but just really deciding that, hey, I'm going to be consistent. This is a level I want to hit every single month. I want to sell on average 300 retail every single week. That's all you're doing to be a star, 300 retail. That's a miracle set and a repair set. You know, however you want to break it down to look at it, but it's so doable. And it really is, when we talk about faces take you places, it's so true. Doing new faces is going to drive you to everything you want in your Mary Kay business. And women out there using skincare, why not from you? Every woman you know is using skincare, color products, body products, fragrance, all those things that we have. So why not you? But you know what? You got to ask, right? You got to have the 20 seconds of courage to do the bold ask, to ask them to try the products or get onto a virtual event or do a QVC event, whatever it is. So I know you're that girl. I know you can be brave and bold and confident because you do it in other areas of your life. So you already have it, especially as a mama. We all are brave, bold, and confident at some point for our kids. You know we are, girls. Or maybe it's your guardians or your nephews or nieces, or it's your parents, whatever it is. But you already have that in you. Oh, Lord, this cat. We already have that in you. So it's just putting that into your Mary Kay business. Okay. All right. So be bold and confident this week. Next thing, remember, when you hit 10, you'll get a surprise from me. Y'all know that. And then, of course, everything's wrapping up on Sunday night for the month. So you're going to be earning your spot for the Red Hot and Rolling. And you earn your spot by being a red jacket or above, adding a new team member, having a new Great Start qualified team member, being a Pearl Girl, or being a super seller, meaning you've sold 3,000 retail or ordered 1,500 wholesale. Okay, one of those two. All right. Now let's talk about this really quick. The fall products are out. Many of them are sold, not all of them, but many of those are sold out. And then the holiday line is out as well. Okay. So I know it was back-to-back lines. It's a lot to remember, but you know, you've got this, the holiday line, everything as far as I know is still in stock and ready to rock and roll. So who do you need to take care of? What customers can you touch base with and just check in and make sure they're doing okay on their Mary Kay products? What customers can you offer a birthday discount for this month? Actually, you know, I told y'all a couple of weeks ago and I trained on this, how I do my birthday discount. So yesterday I sent reminders and I got $150 more in reorders just from the reminders of people going, oh yeah, I do need to get some stuff. So you know what? A lot of times women do just need that little prompt reminders. Hey, don't forget your birthday discount runs out on Sunday at midnight. Is there anything you need to keep you looking beautiful? Just little things like that, because people are busy, and the little prompt, you're not being pushy or aggressive. You're just being helpful because people are busy and they forget. It's like a little reminder. We all love those. So just like I send you order reminders, because I know how we are. Everybody's busy and time gets away from us. And it's the same thing with your customers. So make sure you are offering your customers that great service of a birthday discount every month. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about October promos. Don't forget, this is an awesome time to add somebody new to your team for $30. As long as they come in October and they do at least the $30 e-start, then when they place an order, and it can be a minimum order, by the end of November, they'll get a discount. So if it's a minimum order all the way up to $5.99, they'll get $25 off at checkout. If it's $600 or more, they get $50 off, plus all the Great Start qualified bonuses. So it's a very good offer for people that are wanting to get started in their business, whether it's going to be at a low level or they want to jump in and get product and start doing faces right away. Whatever start they want, getting money off at checkout is good to go. So who can you talk to in the next couple of days that might just want to give it a try? They just need to do their e-start by the end of the month. And then they have until next month to place the order to get that discount. Okay. All right. Next thing is new faces. Okay. So here's the deal. Where are you at on your faces goal for the month? Are you rocking it? Are you halfway there? Are you way far behind? Did the month get away from you? Well, sometimes we have those months, right? But you still have a few days left at the end of the month. So why not reach out to somebody, see if you can set up some virtual QVC parties or one-on-ones and just say, hey, we've got some new product, or whatever they're interested in looking at. But just make sure you're available and you're really working to do some virtual appointments or in-person appointments to get your faces in for the month. Because as I said earlier, faces take you places, and they take you the places you want to go in your Mary Kay business, that's for sure. So don't forget that. All right. Also, I am 52 now. I turned 52 on Wednesday. So I would really like for some of you guys to earn my birthday challenge, which is an amazing prize. It's going to be so good. You're going to be really happy you did it. Buy your 52 items. So all you got to do is go through each item counts as one. So if you sold a compact with 4 eyeshadows and a petite mini, that's 5 items right there. So 52 items, track it. Let me know where you're at for your prize, okay? Also, and don't forget that we are tracking our 20% growth. We are behind this month. We've had a very slow month up to now. So I'm just assuming that everybody's kind of been crazy busy and that they're going to be ordering over the next, 2 days. But we are super behind this month. So we want to hit our 13% growth and our 20% growth. So get your orders in. Here's the other thing is, like, I'm doing a holiday open house on Friday the 12th. So I ordered extra yesterday because I'm prepping for my holiday open house. And my holiday open house, I set appointments because I want to know who's coming. And you can do this virtually. You could do a virtual show where just like, oh, I've got this and this. So I'm going to be doing a video on little cute Christmas packaging that you can put together for, and I just put together one of everything. I don't make up 10 of anything. I do not. I make up one of everything, and then I take orders. Smart way to do it. So that video, I'll probably get that out for you next week. Because people, hey, gosh, now we're rolling in. I mean, today is the 29th, so we're less than 2 months away from Christmas. So it's time to get that in the forefront of your brain, and how you can help be a Mary Kay gift or a Mary Kay gift option for people, as far as like a packaging and, letting them shop Mary Kay style, and you can bring it to them gift wrapped or in a gift sack. I mean, free delivery is a nice thing, being able to package things. The packaging I'll show you next week, super cute, super cute. And there's videos on how to do it. So I'll do all that next week for you. Okay, now story time. Y'all ready? Story time. All right, this is kind of a long story, but I love this story. It's in Mary Kay's autobiography, and it's chapter 16, which means you can't outgive God. Okay, so it's a little long, but it's worth it. So get you a cup of tea and sit back with me as we have story time. Okay, let me check my time so I know that I'm on track. Okay, sorry, I had to look at my time. Okay, I recently received an envelope that held $21 bills. Along with the money, there was a note from a director asking me to autograph each bill so that she could award them to consultants. This happens frequently, and I always write the same thing beside my name, Matthew 25:14-30. That, of course, is the parable of the talents. I really believe we are meant to use and increase whatever God has given us. The scripture tells us that when we do, we shall be given more. And the truth has been dramatically illustrated throughout my life. But I'd like to tell you about one very special example. Years ago, the pastor of my church asked me to address the congregation about raising funds for a children's learning center. I must admit, my first reaction was a sigh. Well concealed, I hope. The fundraising effort had been going very slowly. Each Sunday, a member of the congregation had made a plea for the special collection, but the results were still discouraging. No matter who spoke, we just couldn't top $600 to $1,000 a week. And at that rate, we wouldn't have that building for a long, long time. With all this in mind, I felt a little hesitant about accepting responsibility for an additional Sunday morning speech. Furthermore, I hadn't been involved in the Sunday school program, so I said to the pastor, but I don't have anything to do with the children's work in our church. Why not ask someone who works in that area? And he said, you do believe children should be brought up in the church? Well, of course I do. Then say so. He had me. When? I asked. How about 6 weeks from today? The pastor was wise. I'm sure he knew that people agree to anything 6 weeks away. I decided that I couldn't do much worse than anyone else had done, so I agreed to give it a try. I'll do it, I said. The 6 weeks seemed to fly by rapidly since I was very busy at the office and had some traveling commitments as well. But in the back of my mind, I was always searching for the right words to include in my plea to the congregation. It bothered me that I hadn't already written my speech because I usually plan such work far in advance. Mel and I were in Chicago the week before I was to address the congregation, and once again, I had been unable to find time to simply sit down and write. And on the night before my speech, we arrived home well after midnight. I was very worried because the right words still wouldn't come, but I convinced myself it would be better to get a good night's sleep and plan my speech in the morning. That morning, Mel and I overslept. When I awoke and looked at the clock, it was after 10. I had less than an hour to get my thoughts in order and be at church. It takes me longer than that to get dressed every morning. When was I going to write the speech? I had fully intended to have some quiet time that morning to work up the best presentation I could. And look what happened. For about 5 seconds, I thought longingly of just staying home. But that was impossible. I had to keep my promise. Mel was already racing around getting ready, so I did the same. I grabbed the first dress I saw in my closet, and I was slipping it on, I thought, Lord, fill my mouth with worthwhile words and stop me when I've said enough. Obviously, the speech was going to be in his hands, for I didn't even have time to think. You'll have to tell me what to say, Lord, I prayed, and then I stopped dead in the middle of putting on my makeup because the thought had come to me so clearly that it shocked me. Mary Kay, tell the congregation you'll match whatever they give today. The thought was so vivid that I put down the makeup I was holding and said out loud, wait just a minute, Lord, I've got to think this over. Fortunately, Mel didn't hear me talking away in my dressing room. He'll think I'm crazy, I thought. If I even implied that God had actually spoken to me, anybody would be entitled to suggest that I needed a little more rest than I'd been getting. And I'd heard talking to God is one thing. Many people do that. And I've heard of people who claim that God speaks to them, but this was the closest I'd ever come. In the car, I had a moment to think and pray, and I was tempted to tell Mel about my idea. Don't you dare, I repeated myself as we rode in silence. I tried to gather my thoughts for the speech. All I could think of was the sentence that had come into my head so very clearly and so unexpectedly. Mary Kay, tell the congregation you will match whatever they give today. By the time we got to church, the choir was in place and the service was about to begin. We had to tiptoe down the side aisle to reach our seats. We'd hardly sat down when the pastor called me to the pulpit. As I walked up, I realized I still had no idea what I was going to say. And once again, I said silently, this is in your hands, Lord. And then I found myself talking about the years that I taught Sunday school back in Houston. There, I had worked with 4- and 5-year-olds and had witnessed the value of teaching the Bible when children were very young. I talked about how important it is to teach children the difference between right and wrong. And I remember quoting Proverbs, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he was old, he will not depart from it. Then I heard myself saying, you know, we've been all talking about this building for quite some time. And each Sunday we've been getting about $600. On a good week, we might even get up to $1,000. But at this rate, these children are going to have grandchildren before the building is built. We must do something about this. You've heard me talk about our company and how we operate on a cash basis. Well, I'll match whatever you give today. Complete silence. I took a breath and went on. You know that we operate on a no credit basis, so I don't want pledges from you today. I want cash or checks. And then for good measure, I repeated, whatever you give today, I'll match. There, I had done it. I glanced at Mel because I had not spoken to him about my idea, and because Mel was retired and might not be able to afford this offer, I really couldn't do it in both our names. Still, I didn't want to hurt his feelings by just doing this in my name. Whatever the amount was, I knew that I was going to have to match it personally. Mel looked shocked, and so did a few other people. But for the most part, the congregation just sat there. I really could see no reaction at all. And as I walked back to my seat, I was already berating myself for an idea that had been a total failure. Look at you, I thought. You can sell cosmetics, but you can't sell God's work. When the pastor finished his sermon, he paused and added, I had some difficulty keeping your attention this morning. I hope it's because you were thinking of Mary Kay's offer. And then he looked at me and said, Mary Kay, I happen to know that a lot of our church members make out their checks before coming to church, and so they might not have their checkbooks with them. Would it be all right if we gave them until 5 this afternoon? That's fine, I said. I was surprised the pastor seemed to think the congregation would respond, but I had hoped he was correct. When 5 o'clock came, I found myself waiting for the telephone to ring. All afternoon, I'd been wondering how much had been given, but nobody called. I kept checking my watch and the hours kept passing by. With each hour, I became more discouraged. Obviously, the collection was so slow, they were embarrassed to tell me about it. Then the later it got, the worse I felt. And usually I would talk to Mel about my worries, but this time I was just too embarrassed to mention it. I still hadn't heard a thing when it's time for us to go to bed. It was about 10 o'clock the next morning before I finally received a call from the chairman of the building committee. I was waiting for you to call last night, I said. What happened? Well, he said, we had a meeting about this after church last night and it got to be quite late. Oh, was it that bad? Oh, no, on the contrary, it was quite phenomenal. Phenomenal? $1,000, maybe more, maybe 2,000 or even 5,000? What do you mean? I asked him. Now, Mary Kay, he said carefully, before I tell you the figure, I want you to know that's what we were debating at our meeting. Yes. We spent some time talking about this and we decided we don't want to hold you to your offer. I've been charged with the responsibility of making that absolutely clear to you. We know you didn't expect what happened and we didn't either. I made the offer, I said, I'll stick to it. Now you don't have to, I want you to know that. We would certainly understand if you don't. How much? This was beginning to sound more like $5,000, maybe even $10,000. If so, how wonderful. He hesitated and I thought, maybe 20,000? Finally, he spoke. $107,748. I was the person who had gone to bed the previous night just praying they had collected at least 1,000. I had never in my life had such mixed feelings. That $107,748, along with my contribution and what we already had, would be enough to start the building. I had asked God to tell me what to say, and he certainly had. It succeeded beyond my wildest dreams. On the other hand, my announcement came back to me clearly. They had to give cash, and so did I today. By now, the silence on my end of the line was becoming noticeable. Are you there? He asked. Yes, I sighed. My mind was working furiously. I don't leave that kind of cash in my passbooks, my savings account. As money comes in, I invest it. But those other members came up with it, and somehow I would too. The only solution that occurred to me was to cancel my next appointment and arrange a bank loan. Now, you don't have to, he began. I know, and that's very considerate of you, but I certainly intend to keep my word. In fact, you be sure the building committee knows that it is definitely my pleasure. I hope I sounded cordial, but I'm not sure, because the moment I hung up that phone, I had my head in my hands. That was a lot of cash, about 100 times more than I expected to need. Okay, Lord, I said, you got me into this. Now you got to get me out. How am I going to get this money? And then the phone rang. It was Richard, her son. I must backtrack a bit at this point and explain something. Months before this event, Richard had come to me with an investment proposal. A geologist said he knew had developed the seismic technique for finding oil, and Richard investigated the procedure and had been very impressed with its potential. As a result, he had encouraged me to invest in 2 oil wells. I trusted his judgment and told him go ahead, and from that day forward, I had never given those wells a thought. Richard was elated. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Everything you put your hands to turns to gold. What do you mean? Those oil wells, he said, remember? I've just learned that they came in, not one, but both of them, and both are gushers. It's unbelievable. Do you know what those wells are worth? Tell me. I'm sure that I'd stop breathing because I just had this funny feeling. Between the 2 of them, he said, your share this month will be over $100,000. I can assure you it was a very humble and grateful woman who took my contribution to the church at noon that day. The money I borrowed from the bank would be paid off by the end of the month with revenues from those oil wells. That incident reminded me of something I learned as a little girl in Sunday school, incidentally in a classroom not nearly as nice as those in the new children's building. You never need to be afraid of giving for God, because he will always see to it that you get back 100-fold. That's what the parable of the talents is all about. The more you give, the more you get. You can't outgive God. But there is a sequel to my story, and after such success, I was approached a few years later and asked once again to head up a major fundraising drive for the church. This time, I decided to take a different tact. I organized other members, and we spent 6 weeks getting the congregation ready for our proposal. One marvelous Sunday morning, we acquired pledges of over 10 million for the Christian Learning Center, and at another time, 7 million for the church sanctuary. I've said it before, but now I'll say it again. You can't outgive God. So I don't know if you have read Mary Kay's autobiography or not, but you should, because it's not just about getting to know the woman who started this company, the company that you're a part of, but it's getting to know an amazing woman of God that led. I mean, do y'all know how much $107,000 was when that was written? It was in the 70s. Do you know how much money that was? It was like a lot of money. It's a lot of money now, but it was way more in the 70s. And so I love hearing her stories of how she just was so obedient to God's leading, and he was able to do great things through her, just like starting this company to help women, millions of women in 40 countries for years and years and years, because she was obedient. So my charge for you today is listen for God's voice in your life and in your heart and in your mind. And when he's leading you to do something, be quick to obey, because there is blessings in obedience. So that is our Monday Night Live, a little different this week, but I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope it made you really think about how we cannot outgive God. So I'll see you back on Monday, November 1st for Monday Night Live. Go ahead and comment below when you've watched this, and you'll be in. I'll put you in for our attendance. I won't do a drawing this week because we're kind of off, but we'll do a drawing on Monday and be back to normal. And don't forget, month end wraps up on Sunday at midnight. I'm here if you need anything. I'll be in my office till midnight on the last day of the month to help you reach your goals, punch in orders, answer questions, whatever you need. Okay, take care. Have a great one. Bye.